How's it going, guys? Naomi Cal here with IGN Live at E3. We have just 2 segments left for E3 2012, believe it or not. The first is a live demo of a PS3 exclusive game, Beyond Two Souls. The second is a live presentation of IGN's Game of the Show. This is the first year we've done this, so we're pretty excited about it. But right now we're going to take a look at a dramatic new game, emphasis on the drama part. The Heavy Rain guys are at it again with Beyond Two Souls, and no, that actually has nothing to do with IGN's Beyond podcast. Nothing.
As I live and breathe, David Cage.
Hey.
David, first and foremost, what the hell, dude? Sony uses the Beyond catchphrase, we steal it, and now you're stealing it back from us?
Sorry about that, but I love your t-shirt.
All right, well, I'm gonna love the nice expense checks I get from you. The trademark doesn't come cheap.
Okay.
Second question, of course. Beyond, you debuted here finally. Everybody's excited. So excited, in fact, you're the final game demo to close out IGN's E3. How does that make you feel?
Very proud. I'm glad to be here. Very excited.
For people who missed it at the conference or weren't lucky enough to go behind closed doors like this guy, what is Beyond Two Souls all about?
Beyond is the story of a young woman called Jodie Holmes, and she has a link with an invisible entity. She calls him Aiden. She doesn't know why. She doesn't know if it's a presence, a ghost, or spirit, but it's always there somewhere around her. So Beyond is the story of Jodie through 15 years of her life, and we'll see how she evolves, how she grows, how she learns how to live with this thing.
All right, now Colin Moriarty's preview just went live on IGN.com. This doesn't matter, of course, because we're being, archived forever. But the thing was, we got to see this demo of Jodie on the train, and the fact that you get to play as Aiden. Why did you want to make that choice to make you not just be Ellen Page?
Well, choosing a demo in our games is always difficult because each scene is different. So when we show something, we always fear that people think that this is going to be the game and they will have 20 levels with the same thing, but each scene is different. So in Beyond, you control Jodie, who is a human being interacting with the real world, but you also control Aiden, with this entity, and with Aiden, you can do all the things that the entities can do. You're invisible, you can fly around, you can go through walls, you can interact with matter in a specific way. And we wanted to show a demo, live code, not just a cutscene, that would show 2 things. One, an action-driven scene, which is something we have not really done on Heavy Rain. And secondly, a scene that would really illustrate how you can switch freely from Jodie to Aiden.
That's the interesting thing. You bring up Heavy Rain. Obviously, IGN, we loved Heavy Rain. We gave it our PS3 Game of the Year 2010. When you're given the demo, you were very clear to say you are controlling Jodie at all times here. Was that a big switch for you? I mean, we're always in control of her, but then still, like the Heavy Rain icons we know of, moving right, moving left, counter, circle, pop up.
What's very difficult to explain, and we face that with Heavy Rain, is how all this is played. I mean, when you just look at the images, you see nice camera angles and you see nice animations, and you tend to think that everything is pre-rendered and this is just a cutscene and I'm just pressing a button here and there, which is absolutely not the case. Beyond is fully in real time. We have very few cutscenes and you're in control of what's going on with Jodie or Aiden all the time. So just need to be very clear about this, because when you just watch the images and you just watch the videos, it's not obvious how it's played.
How does the genesis for, and I know this is a bad question, how does the genesis for a story come about to you? Like, I mean, at what point are you just thinking of ghosts, you're thinking of entities, you're thinking of Ellen Page, and you're like, wait a second, I'm going to bring those, like, how does that work for you?
Well, it takes much more time, of course, than just that. Usually I have the idea in mind for, 2-3 years, something like that, and I just don't think too much about it. It's just something that crosses my mind, and sometimes I think about it, sometimes I don't. And when I feel I'm ready, I start writing. And it takes me usually a year to write a script like Beyond or Heavy Rain, and then it goes into production. And then we need to find an actress, of course, for the main role, and I had the name of Ellen for a long time in mind for this character. I was looking for a young actress who would be, of course, very talented, that also would have this kind of fragile or vulnerability in her, but at the same time would have this strength inside. And I thought that Ellen would be fantastic. So we just contacted her, sent her the script, sent her a copy of Heavy Rain, told her that we loved her and that she would be amazing in this role, and be honest about it.
So now you send this in. I mean, do you think there's any chance of getting her?
I was fortunate enough to start my career working with someone like David Bowie in my first game.
Yeah.
So once in a lifetime, when you ask someone like David Bowie to be in your game and he said yes, I mean, you're not shy to ask anyone.
I like that. That's good. Show no fear whatsoever. So, I mean, for the kids at home, 15 years of this girl's life, Jodie, who is she? I mean, is there ever, 15 years, she's in her 20s when we see her on the train and stuff. So I'm assuming we get to see the origin of when this entity shows up and stuff.
I'll be right back.
Has her life ever been normal? By the time we catch up to her in the demo we saw at E3, you know, the SWAT team is chasing her. People know she has these powers. Do we get to see her as just, you know, this normal kid who can knock juice over with her head?
Well, actually, Aiden is there pretty much since Jodie was born. So she was a strange kid, and we'll be there to play with Jodie when she's 8. But we'll see her when she's this angry teenager who just wants to go out and be like everyone else, but she can't because of Aiden's presence. And we'll play her again when she's an adult. So we will really be with her during all her life, being the happy moments and the sad moments. And by the end of the story, we will really feel that we know Jodie intimately because we've been with her through all her life.
So, you know, a lot of writers talk about what needs to be there for a great story, right, is the beginning, middle, and the end, and have something people are driving towards. If you can talk about it, what is Jodie's purpose here? Is it just getting away and trying to survive, or is there somewhere she's trying to go, or?
There's really a goal to all this thing. Of course, she wants to. A personal journey is probably to accept who she is and how different she is, but just accept that. But of course, there is also something to discover about the other side, about who is Aiden exactly, and what's beyond.
Okay, beyond indeed. So the thing I always loved about Heavy Rain, and the thing I know you're bringing back here, is the fact that there is no game over, right? So we were talking about this yesterday, and I know in the demo you put it up that Jodie can't die, but of course she can fail. Why did you want to keep that part of Heavy Rain and put it in here?
You know, the game over situation is very frustrating in a story-driven experience. I mean, if it's just an action game, that's fine, because then you fail, you go back, and it's all about, you know, your dexterity and how fast you can press buttons. But in a story-driven experience, it's very different. Suddenly your story would stop and you would have to go back in time and then see the same things again, but without having the same impact because you see them for the second time. Doesn't make any sense. So since Heavy Rain, I work on solutions to get rid of this and have options where actually just the story changes when you fail, and it leads you to a different part of the story. For example, in the demo we showed Jodie could be arrested, and if she's arrested, the story carries on. I mean, you just need to solve this new situation. So again, what we showed here is just one walkthrough, but there are many ways of playing this scene, showing you very different variations of the story, and it's true at the scale of the full game. Depending on how you play, you will get different stories.
Now, Jodie's a character. Does she ever feel empowered? I mean, I've only seen a glimpse of her life, right? But it seemed a few times, like on top of the train, she's fighting like, you know, hand-to-hand combat, and she's really good. But then she kind of jumps off and just believes that, you know, Aiden will carry her down to the ground and stuff. Does she know that the entity will always be there for her, or is there this weird relationship between them of not knowing?
You know, this relationship between Jodie and the entity really evolves through time, and they learn to know each other, and their relationship really changes. So this is the moment in time where they really trust each other, where Jodie's trained for a very good reason that I can't explain here, and this is really the moment where she trusts Aiden, but many things can happen that I don't want to reveal too much now, otherwise it's going to ruin
Come
the player's
on,
experience.
David, we all
Sorry
want to
about
know
it.
more, we
No.
know. All right, can you at least tell us when it's coming out? Broadly, when is it broadly coming out?
Broadly, it's 21st century.
21st, all right,
Definitely.
we'll narrow it down a bit more. What year?
Okay, it's going to be next year.
Next year. David, then, can't
Okay.
wait to play it. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Naomi, you're my entity.
Thanks, Greg. Beyond. Okay, that's all for the live show and the game demos that we have for you. So awesome job to all our guests and our amazing crew. You guys rock. But for you audience members out there, don't leave us just yet. Next up, we'll have IGN's Best of Show award presentation. It was a hard decision to make, but at the end of the week, one game stood above them all. See what we decided coming up next.